I remember looking at my bank balance on a Friday afternoon. It showed exactly 2,450. Seeing that number made me feel safe. Actually, it made me feel kind of wealthy. Because the number was high, my brain switched into spending mode. I ordered the $40 sushi platter for dinner. I bought a new video game for $60. I didn't think twice because, hey, I had over 2 grand in the bank, right? But I had completely disconnected from the reality that $200 of that was rent due on Monday, and $400 was for my car insurance. By Tuesday morning, my account was overdrafted. Again, it was a humiliating cycle of being rich on Friday, broke on Monday. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here is exactly what happened. For the longest time, I treated my checking account like one giant soup pot. Every dollar I owned, my paycheck, my side hustle money, my birthday money from grandma, it all went into this single chaotic bucket. The problem with the one-pot method, which I'm guessing a lot of us fall into by default, is that it relies entirely on mental math. I was walking around trying to subtract my bills from my total balance in my head. I'd look at the app, see $2,000, and think, okay, rent is $200, electric is $100, so I have roughly $700 to spend. But humans are terrible at mental math when we are tired, or hungry, or stressed. I wasn't accounting for the Netflix subscription that was auto-drafting the next day. I wasn't accounting for the gas I needed to buy to get to work. Because all the money looked the same, I treated it all the same. A dollar destined for my landlord looked exactly like a dollar destined for a taco. There were no walls, no separators. It was just a pile of cash, and because I saw a big pile, I felt comfortable taking a little bit off the top. The breaking point for me wasn't a huge emergency. It was actually just a regular Tuesday. I went to buy a $4 coffee, literally just a basic coffee, and my card declined. I stood there at the register, feeling that hot flush of shame creep up my neck. I checked my app. I had $0.14. I had accidentally spent my grocery money on takeout over the weekend because I thought I had extra. I realized right then that I couldn't trust my own brain to separate my money. I needed a system that did it for me, or I was going to stay stuck in this cycle forever. I knew I needed boundaries, but the traditional advice didn't work for me. I'd read about the cash envelope system, where you physically withdraw your paycheck, turn it into cash, and stuff it into paper envelopes labeled rent or groceries. Conceptually, I loved it. It makes the money finite. You can't spend the rent money on pizza because the rent money is literally sitting in a sealed envelope in your drawer. But practically, it was a nightmare for me. I pay my electric bill online. I buy my dog food on subscription. I don't carry cash, and honestly, walking around with my entire net worth in my pocket made me nervous. I needed that same hard boundary feeling, but I needed it to exist inside my phone. So I decided to build digital walls. I logged into my banking app and clicked around. I realized that with my bank, and honestly with most banks, I could open additional checking or savings accounts for free, instantly. I didn't need to go into a branch. I just clicked a button. So I opened 2 new sub-accounts to sit alongside my main one. The real magic, though, was in the naming. I didn't leave them as checking 2 or savings 1. I renamed them to reflect their job. I named the first one the Fortress. This was for my fixed bills. Rent, car insurance, internet, cell phone, subscriptions, the non-negotiables. I named the second one the Playground. This was for everything else. Eating out, coffee, clothes, movies, buying random gadgets I probably don't need. Once the accounts were open, I had to do the part I had been avoiding for years, the math. I sat down with a messy piece of paper and listed every single fixed bill I had. It was terrifying. Seeing the numbers added up on paper made me realize just how expensive it costs just to exist. My Fortress number, the amount I needed just to keep the lights on and a roof over my head, was $1,650 a month. Here's how the digital envelope system actually works for me now. On payday, the money hits my main account. Let's say it's a $2,000 paycheck. In the old days, I'd see $2,000 and feel rich. Now, the moment that money lands, I execute the transfer. I immediately move my Fortress number into that specific account. I'm not going to lie, this part hurts. Physically hurts. I watch my main balance drop from $2,000 down to $350 in the span of 3 seconds. My brain screams, "Where did all my money go? I just got paid." But then, a second later, the relief washes over me. That money isn't gone. It's just assigned. It's sitting behind a wall. I know that when the rent hits, the money will be there waiting for it. I don't have to remember not to spend it. I removed the temptation by removing the access. This was a massive application of the atomic habits law. Make it invisible. By moving the bill money out of my immediate sight, I stopped seeing it as spendable cash. I stopped doing the mental gymnastics of, okay, I have $2,000, but $200 is rent. No. Now I just look at the playground. If that account says I have $50, then I have $50. It doesn't matter if there is $5,000 sitting in the Fortress. That money doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my landlord and the electric company. I'm just holding it for them. Separating these accounts was like uncluttering a messy room. Suddenly, I wasn't guessing anymore. I wasn't praying that my card wouldn't decline. I had created a system where my needs were automated and protected, and my wants were contained in their own little sandbox. It felt restrictive at first, like I was putting myself on an allowance, but after the first month, I realized it wasn't a restriction. It was freedom. The true test of this system came about 3 weeks in. I was at the grocery store staring at a somewhat expensive steak. Old me would have thrown it in the cart, vaguely hoping I had enough money while a knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. But this time, I pulled out my phone and opened the playground account. The balance said $42 or $15. That was it. That was every penny I had available to spend until Friday. In the past, seeing a low number like that would have made me panic. But this time, it felt strangely calm. It was clarity. I knew my rent was already safe in the Fortress. I knew my car insurance was covered. That $42.15 was truly 100% mine to burn. I could buy the steak, but it meant I'd be eating ramen for the next 3 days. Or I could buy chicken and have money left over for coffee later. I put the steak back. I didn't feel deprived, I felt in control. This brings me back to the core philosophy we talk about on this channel. In Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about environment design. If you want to change your behavior, you have to change your environment. By separating my accounts, I changed my financial environment. I made it impossible to accidentally spend my rent money because my rent money wasn't sitting next to my taco money anymore. This isn't about having more money. My paycheck didn't change. My bills didn't change. But my relationship with the money changed completely. I stopped swiping my card and praying. Now I swipe without fear. Even if I drain the playground account to exactly 0.00, I sleep soundly at night knowing the lights aren't going to get turned off. It's a small change, just clicking a few buttons on a banking app. But it gave me the mental space to breathe. And when you're in debt, breathing room is everything. My 1% mission for tomorrow is just to set up the structure. I'm not even asking you to move money yet. Just log into your bank and see if you can rename your accounts. Create a fortress for bills and a playground for spending. Just giving your money a name changes how you treat it. Will you build your digital envelope? Let me know in the comments below. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.